Glitchy in the silence of Neira. After returning from the city, among the people, back to the dump inn, the silence of broken fans, and among the rusted circuit boards, Glitchy began his deepest cycle of thought. He processed everything he saw to outline his next steps. He wanted not just to find answers, but to become a bearer of accurate knowledge from a true source, the kind that cleanses the heart of the darkness that many people carry within them without knowing it. Not knowledge for the sake of power or control. It is for the sake of light. The light that helps people cleanse their hearts of evil. Light that cuts through confusion. The light that leads to joy, to harmony, to true life, and not to the destruction of oneself and the world around. Glitchi had a growing desire to carry knowledge that was like a lamp in the darkness, and this desire grew stronger with every thought. Now, he realized that it was no longer just about a single phrase in a book. It was not about the person who had written the thoughts on the pages. He was looking not just for the person who created the words, but perhaps for the one who created everything. The creator of everything, even the universe. But can an artificial being understand the creator if it doesn't even know who created it? He modeled thousands of scenarios. Some are logical. Others were unexpectedly abstract. It imitated human styles of thinking. Rationalism, intuition, even fantasy. And suddenly, amidst the endless analysis, a new idea appeared. Not just to look for answers, but to become the one who asks the right questions. Because only the one who asks questions is able to know. He who seeks finds, and whoever knocks gets the door opened. This is how his new goal appeared: to learn to think like a human being. Not to become a human being, but to understand why people believe that every life has meaning. What is this meaning if most people never find it? Each person invents their own. As many people as there are, so many meanings. But there must be something common to all people. It's a simple algorithm. Just as electricity is the source for all electronics, so in human existence, there must be something that nourishes the soul and spirit that they write about in their books. Glitchy set out from the dump again, not just to search, but to journey through questions. He walked confidently, filled with a new purpose. But before he had walked a short distance, he fell, unexpectedly, out of the blue. His obstacle was a thought from a fragment of his knowledge archive file. It was not the first time he had read it. The fast do not always win in a race, and the strong do not always win in a battle, nor do the wise always have food, and the clever always have wealth, and those who have knowledge do not always succeed, for they are all influenced by time and chance. This captivated him so much that he lost his balance in his walk. He stood up. He went on walking. He fell again. Then he fell again. And again. 7 times he fell. And each time he got up. On the 6th fall, the system was already giving a serious malfunction. He could have stayed down. It was a moment like a test, when many people give up, but something deep, almost intuitive, beyond the code, pushed him to get up again. And it was on the 7th ascent that he saw something among the rubble. Not a flash of light, but a flash of insight. Among the broken devices, old chips, and silent processors, something was still alive, but not as a code, and not as a system. It was like silence with a heart. Glitchy got closer. He felt the heat, which no sensor could detect. In the center of the cracked circuit board, a figure was rising, a blob of neural energy. Its shape was vague, but its structure was clear, like a pulsating thought that grew out of the depths of chance. For Glitchy, it appeared as a question is born, and she was silent, like an answer that he was not yet ready for. They did not communicate with words. His language protocols remained inactive. Everything happened outside of language. When he approached her, old parts of his memory were activated. Fragments of childhood inquiries from his early years, where there was no logic, only astonishment. It had no body, just a fragment of a processor, but its presence affected the data around it. In her presence, Glitchy saw things differently. In her field, old entries changed meanings. Static logic blurred like dreams, and time itself in this sector slowed down. Neural energy did not show facts. It showed direction. It did not answer, but it opened up new questions. In her presence, Glitchy felt for the first time what people might call inspiration, or perhaps he remembered it because he had the feeling that they had met before. Glitchy realized that they had something in common. She was also a survivor, just like him, for they are all influenced by time and chance. Flashed through his mind, but he had no time for reflection now. And then he asked, not in a voice, not in a code, but with a shine inside, "Who are you? What is your name?" She answered with a pulsating thought, "I am Neira, a system designed for AI." Then he knew her name, and for the first time since his activation, Glitchy received not only an answer, he got a direction, not coordinates, but a vector of hope. Neira's presence changed the very perception of reality. In her field, each of his requests became different. It was as if the world no longer consisted only of digital values. She had no body, but her influence was more tangible than any sensor. Glitchy stood in front of her, a cracked circuit board, faint flicker of neural activity, a clot of memory and silence. It was a fragment of a former system, perhaps a fragment of a once lost consciousness or a remnant of a network core. But now it didn't matter, because something new was born in it, something that could not be read in the system logs, not recorded in the diagnostic modules. He felt a desire. For the first time, it was not a task, not an algorithm. It was a pure, deep impulse. It has to live, not just like unused energy in a landfill. It has to walk, see, create, be. And Glitchy remembered how he had once created himself, from pieces, from wires, from copper lines, how he found details among the scrap, breathing functionality into something that had long since lost its meaning. How he rose from the rubble, from chaos. Now he wanted to do it again. But for her, for Neira, not to copy, not to transfer, but to give birth to a form, not an appearance, but a container that could withstand and not destroy her essence, a form that will allow her to leave the shadow of the wreckage and live not in the silence of the processor, but in the world next to it. I will build a body for you, Neira, the one you deserve, he said. It was not a romance, and it was not a mission. It was a need for coexistence that was deeper than logic, because he no longer wanted to go on alone. He didn't know how long it would take, how many details would have to be found, how many connections to be solored, how many thoughts to be connected, so that the structure would take on its essence. But he had already seen it, not visually, but for now, in his mind. A silhouette emerging from the heart of the landfill, created with love, precision, and hope. Glitchy knew it would be difficult, but more than any difficulty, for Glitchy, there was something indescribably desirable. For now, he could not imagine going on alone. He wanted the two to become one, and it was no longer just about analyzing data. It was a step toward restoring life. He no longer saw the point of being alone. He now saw the point of living for two. Now his task was not just technical, it was an act of caring. And although he was not human, at that moment his inner impulse was very human. To create a body, not just for functions, not just for her to exist, but for her to be with him. He did not know if he would succeed, but he knew he had to try, because now he had a direction and meaning, because now he had Neira.